Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much for joining me. Today's video is all about Jamaal Lascelles. Now, you've probably seen in the papers and online that he's been linked to a move to Besiktas over in Turkey. Not the first time that the Turkish club have been linked with a move for Newcastle United's captain. It's been a long muted move, really. And the reports over in Turkey seem to suggest that this one is picking up pace. My colleague Lee Ryder reported this morning that Jamaal Lascelles has no intention of leaving Newcastle this month, and there's still a chance that Lascelles could indeed extend his stay at Newcastle. His deal runs out in the summer, so Newcastle will have to offer him an extension if they want to keep him on the books. Eddie Howe has gone on record as well and talked about the negotiations going on and kind of saying he hopes it would all get worked out. That was a few months ago, and we haven't heard anything since. And then this rumour has popped up in the last few days again, a bit more concrete reports from Turkey. But as I say, Lee Ryder says it's still not looking likely to happen. And for me, that's excellent news. I would keep Jamaal Lascelles until at least the summer. And yes, if you don't offer him a new deal, he would then be able to leave on a free, so you wouldn't get any money from him. But hey, what are you going to get this month? Are you going to get £5-6 million for him? It's not a load of money, isn't it? And I know Newcastle need all the money they can get to help with the FFP and RSP, but £5-6 million for Lascelles, I think he'd be pushing it, given he's only got a few months left on his contract. And given Newcastle's look with injuries of late, I think allowing Lascelles to leave would be a huge gamble. I think he would be not only first choice to replace Fabian Schär or Sven Botman, but I actually think, given how he's performed when he had to replace Botman, I think he can actually rival either one of them to a spot in the first team. And I can hear some of you guys saying, are you crazy? Look, on ability, Schär and Botman are better centre-backs. But when you look at the way Jamaal Lascelles has performed for Newcastle United this season, he is up there with a shout. And, you know, he's unfortunate to have seen Botman come back and go straight into the side, because I think Lascelles has performed above everyone's expectations. He's somehow gone up a level despite not playing any football to begin with. And look, he deserves every single chance to stake a claim for first-team football. Now, what do you do when you get to the summer? That's going to be the big question, because I think some of you guys are listening to this would say, okay, I can understand your logic of keeping him until the summer because he's cover for the rest of the season, but then what do? You let him go on a free? No, I think you offer him a 12-month contract extension and just say, look, just hang about. You know, you've proven that when you're called upon, you can do a job. And if the season gone's just proved anything, you never know what's coming around the corner. You never know when someone's going to get injured. You never know when you're going to be called upon. There are opportunities for first-team football, and I think Lascelles would happily stay on. You know, he didn't kick up a fuss when he was not playing. He's been a great captain on and off the pitch. He's settled here with his family, and I think he would happily sign an extension, a 12-month extension, to continue the part of the journey. Next season could be very exciting. You know, Newcastle might not be in Europe next season, but does that open up the track for something special? A title bid, perhaps? Who knows? But I would keep Jamaal Lascelles. Now, I put this out on Twitter, and a lot of people have reacted very negatively to the suggestion of keeping Lascelles for an extra year. They're saying there's no room for sentimentality. Well, it's not about having sentiments. It's not about sentimentality at all. For me, it's about the priorities and balancing the books. If you are honest and you answer the question about what is Newcastle United's priority in the transfer market, a centre-back, I think, will be quite, you know, far down the list. You know, they need a midfielder. They need someone who can play on the right. They need a third striker. If Callum Wilson ends up going, they'll need two strikers, in my opinion. You could probably also argue that they need an out-and-out left-back. I know they've got Lewis Hall, Matt Target, but I think there's scope to go out and really buy a real top-level left-back, someone like Hernandez, potentially from AC Milan. I think Dan Binn's been tremendous, but long-term, he's not the answer at left-back. So I think there's plenty of positions ahead of centre-back where you need to strengthen. And you know, there's a lot of hope that Newcastle United not spending this January will allow them to spend quite a bit in the summer. And to a degree, that could be correct, but they're not going to have tens and tens of, you know, they're not going to break into the £100 million player barrier. You know, they're still going to have to spend very wisely. And if you allow Jamaal Lascelles to go either this month or you allow him to go out in the summer, you're going to have to pay a fair whack for someone of his ability, let alone an improvement, And then it's difficult as well to find someone who just accepts they're not necessarily first team. You know, Lascelles, his attitude has been unbelievable. It really has. How easy is it to find someone like him who accepts he's going to be on the bench more often than not, but also he's going to push those ahead of him? I don't think that's an easy find at all. And that's why, for me, I would keep him. It's to allow Newcastle to spend in other areas of the pitch which are more pressing. You know, you have Dan Burn who can fill it at centre-back and Jamaal Lascelles. That's not a bad cover for the likes of Fabian Schär and Sven Botman, and then maybe Alex Murphy can come through as well. But I think having Lascelles as cover next season is a really good idea, and it just opens up the possibility that Newcastle can spend, you know, the 15, 20 million they would spend on a young centre-back. They can spend that elsewhere on a different position, which is more in need of strengthening, like I say, like a striker, like a winger. And that's why I would keep him. Let me know in the comments what you would do, because as I say, the reaction to my post on social media hasn't been overly welcoming. I can read you some of the responses. So, you know, Scott said, let's keep everyone to progress. We need to move these out. That's a fact. Alistair said we need to move players like Lascelles on and get a bottom quality player in to replace him next year or so. He'll be a squad player on crazy wages. That's what we need to avoid. Now, it's interesting because obviously in an ideal world, you want to go out and get a bottom quality player. But how much did Sven Botman cost Newcastle United? What was it, 35 million, something like that? I mean, are Newcastle really going to have enough money to go and spend that on a centre back when they need other areas strengthening before? I'm not too sure. In an ideal world, yes, but honestly, I don't think it's a priority. And I don't think, even if Lascelles went, you would see Newcastle spending 35, 40 million on a young centre back to come in and play second fiddle to Schär and Botman. Because I do actually think Botman and Schär will be the number one pairing going into next season, at least till January. And again, that's down to other priorities on the pitch. You know, we've got Sir Jason Toon on Twitter saying no issue with Jamaal staying another year, but the club is reinvesting the pounds on younger or better players needs most. So he's saying get Lascelles out for 5 or 6 million, reinvest it. I can totally see where you're coming from on that one. Chris saying sometimes you got to just sell the players that have been here a while at the highest stock level. Don't think Lascelles' stock has ever been higher. Good servant, but need to move people on to improve. And Chris, I actually totally get what you're saying. And if Lascelles was on a 12-month deal now or an 18-month deal now, then yes, 100%, because then you could go out and you could get maybe 10, 15, 20 million for Jamaal Lascelles, who's been superb this season, but with 18 months left on his contract. Given he's got 7 months left on his contract, it expires in June, you're going to really get next to nothing for him. So in my humble opinion, it's like, well, actually, is the 5-6 million you're going to get from him in January worth risking not having the cover till the summer and then having to go out and spend, like I say, 30, 40 million, which I don't think they do, on another centre-back? Nah, not really at all. Seb says, not denying he's been a solid member of the squad this season, but if there's an opportunity to improve in any position, we should take it. So the belief there would be that Newcastle would instantly reinvest it now with 7 days of the window to go. Easier said than done. Again, I mean, how much really are Newcastle going to have in the pot to spend on a backup centre-back? So lots of comments there. I have to say, not any support on my theory at all. We've got Sue applauding it with the emoji. I take that as someone agreeing. But hey, that's it. I would keep Jamaal Lascelles until the summer. I would then offer him a 12-month deal and keep him until next season, and then you go and strengthen in the centre-back area. That's what I would do. Let me know in the comments what you would do. Would you keep Jamaal Lascelles until the summer and then let him go on a free? Would you keep him until the summer and keep him for another year? Or would you sell him now with a few days of the window remaining? Let me know in the comments. Hit subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon.